Hello, we are live. It's Helen here from helenmartinonline.com, and look who I have here with me. I have a very special guest, Brandy. Welcome, Brandy Shaver. We have delighted to have you on live, and your dog.
And the dog.
What's the dog's name?
His name's Link.
Link. So welcome, Link, as well. So anybody that's jumping on with us live, say hello, tell us where you're coming in from, send Brandy lots of loves and likes. And anybody that's catching the replay, then please put the word replay down below. But Brandy, thank you very much for joining me today and giving up your time to tell us a little bit about your story.
You are welcome. I'm super honored to be invited to your page and help you give some value to your people. I'm way excited about this. So it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you once again. And get some people on live. I'm sure they'll send you their likes and loves. But I just want to share, I found your story very typical of a lot of network marketers in how they struggle. And so if you could share with us, a little bit of your background, Brandy, and where you sort of started with network marketing and the journey that you've been on to turn that around. And I know that you were, you got to 6 figures in 11 months, and that's just absolutely amazing. And I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear how the hell you've done that.
Yeah, that's probably a good question, right?
Yeah.
Well, my story starts, I enrolled in a makeup company years ago. My oldest son just turned 19, and he was 6 months old when I took on that venture. And I built that company. I was like number 13 in the Emerald Sales Division in recruiting for that company. And I got divorced. My whole life fell apart, and I could no longer sustain that party lifestyle of, in a different city, packing product, that kind of stuff, doing all of that, and have three small kids.
Yeah.
So I went back to what I knew, which was running my salon, and I put network marketing away. I was kind of really bitter, honestly. I was like, that doesn't work. Don't talk to me about that. I don't even want to hear it, right? Being a hairdresser, owning a salon, you get that a lot from people.
Yeah.
And so, I just kind of put it all away, did my thing. Years later, in March is my new mother-in-law with an opportunity. Of course, she's my mother-in-law, so I couldn't tell her no, right? So she comes through the door, and that is seriously the only reason why it ever happened, ever happened that she came through that door. And I watched the video, and I got the bug. It was a product I didn't have to do the party lifestyle with. It was actual network marketing instead of direct sales.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was I built really quickly. And I made about $20,000 extra my first 8 months with that company. Did really well. I was, doing the warm market, right? Chasing friends, family, just kind of rolling through people that I knew, and built that to a good sizable amount. And then it fell apart because, number one, we live 2.5 hours from anywhere that has more than a Walmart. Okay, so for us to cold prospect, it's about a 5-hour drive.
Wow.
So I was doing that. I had a nanny. My husband was working overtime to pay for my business. And, other couples weren't so lucky, right? I mean, most people are working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. So for them to get a nanny, or, to be able to take a whole day to go cold prospect after they're gone through their warm market, it just wasn't duplicating. And what I started to find, and even because, I'm pretty bullheaded, I wasn't going to give up the dream, right? I wasn't going to quit this time. I was going to see this through. And out of those 2.5 years of cold prospecting in malls, restaurants, stocking waitresses, I recruited one new person.
Yay!
And so yay, right? And what I started to figure out, and I'm just going to move because, kids are everywhere here. What I started to figure out is that people are not going to enroll with you if they don't know, like, and trust you. Yeah. Bottom line.
Yeah.
So, which makes sense, right? I mean, when we think about it, it makes sense. But for some reason, when we're told in network marketing that, just go talk to people, right? Like, it's going to happen. Well, it didn't end up happening, so everything fell apart. And I was searching online. I started to build in groups because I had a friend that was like, well, why don't we try doing like yard sale groups, right? Like putting up a post and kind of clickbaiting people. Yep. Saying, hey, we have an opportunity coming to your area. If you're interested, drop a comment below. Well, that ended up, it works. It just didn't bring the right kind of people, right? They were more like get rich quick kind of people.
Yeah.
They really weren't interested in building an actual business. And then I finally found a post online that said the 5 lies you've been told about network marketing. And I was like, I was in. I mean, they had me just like that, right? So I clicked in it. I was like, this is probably a scam, but what else do you do? I was at my rope's end. I was either figure something out or quit. And I fell into that, and I decided this was real, that building online, it was real, and I became a really good student. In fact, I didn't even know how to copy and paste when I first got involved. That's how computer savvy I was. So any of you out there that are like, I just don't, I just can't do that because I don't get it or whatever. YouTube became my best friend, and I asked questions until I figured it out. And 11 months later, I went from 0 to 6 figures. So that's kind of the story. And I worked my tail off. Like, somebody asked me today how many hours I worked in that process. And there were days that I worked between 19 and 20 because I had to work harder than most people to make it work, because I didn't have the computer background or how any of the techie stuff worked. In fact, my computer was so old that my first week that I made $1,700 after I started with the attraction marketing, I bought a new laptop because my computer would not do anything. It was like 10 years old, right? It was so crazy that, But anyway, that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, I've been building online since. In fact, I had a friend the other day say, we enrolled a friend out of, where's she from? She's in the UK, and I was teasing her. I said, I'm flying to the UK. I'm going to do a home meeting. And she was like, no.
No home meetings.
No home meetings. I just want to go to the UK. I'm not
fair enough. I get that with Australia. People are like, I'm going to come and visit you. And it's like, come. I need people to come all the way over here. I just want to give some shout outs, and please send Brandy some likes and loves for giving up her time and being here and sharing her story. Hi, Isabel. Hi, Gwyneth. Hi, Julie. Hey, Courtney. How are you? We love you too, Courtney. Absolutely. So thanks for joining us, live, guys. Who would like Brandy's results? Who would like to go from struggling where you're at now to 6 figures in 11 months? I think, a lot of people would love to sort of be on that journey that you're on. But I think there's a couple of important points there. That one, you said you weren't tech savvy. And this is where I see a lot of people. Hey, Yvonne. Hey, Diana. Great to see you. Please say hi to Brandy.
Hello, everybody.
Is that people get in infinite...
Now they're following me, guys. See these dogs and these kids? They follow me. I just came outside, and now they're out here. I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Hey, Tricia. Thanks for joining. Nice to see you guys all live. The beauty of being live, Brandy, isn't it? And having animals.
There we go.
Yeah. You've done a full circle.
Yay!
I think, two important things that you just mentioned there is you didn't know how to copy and paste. And I speak to a lot of people and I've been there myself, and I still get there now myself, is information overload. And there's so much information, and there are skills to learn. But I think, I'd love your opinion on this, but how did you get from not being able to copy and paste was about your skill level, to then getting through all that overwhelm and learning the skills that you needed to learn to sort of get there? Because you obviously got there because you worked very hard. That's the other piece of it. You wanted it, you worked hard for it, and the results have shown. So this is not a silver bullet. Even what Brandy found and what helped her, it's not the silver bullet. There is nothing that sort of exists like that. It takes, hard work. But there must have been some kind of process, and I'm sure this would be helpful to other people. When you're learning like that, you're starting from all I know how to do is copy and paste to running, learning how to build your business online, and there's certain skills that go with that. How did you get through that chaos, Brandy? How did you work through that?
One step at a time. It's definitely a process. You have to definitely celebrate your wins every week, because your growth that you're going to go through, basically your growth is going to be astronomical. People say, sometimes you see that distributor that enrolls in your team, right, or in another's team. It's usually Crossline or something, and you watch that distributor go from 0 to all of a sudden they're up here, and you're like, what the heck, right? Like, I've been working my tail off. Like, how does this happen, right? So usually what ends up happening is it's persistence, and then it's massive action is what's really put behind it. And honestly, what ended up happening for me was mentorship. So that's really where the growth took place was, you know, really understanding and finding some mentorship and taking one step at a time. And the mentorship that I found, the exposure agent that I used, actually had a roadmap piece by piece. And so that's what I did, piece by piece. And I just kept pushing through. And if you guys haven't read the book, what is it called? How to Win Friends and Influence People? Maybe? No?
Yeah, that's
yeah, the one with the persistence chapter. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, it's really good. It's old book.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, it's a classic book. Everybody tells you to read it, but the persistence chapter in there, that's really why I'm here, is because I'm just bullheaded enough to prove people wrong. I mean, honestly, like there was people that told me that I couldn't do this. In fact, there was somebody that told me that I shouldn't upgrade for the mentorship because I wasn't ready, and I did it anyway. I just said, forget it. I'm gonna figure this out, right?
Well, if there's one thing I've learned, Brandy, if I sit around and wait until I'm ready, it's just never going to happen. It's never, you know, and some people say, I'm not ready to do a Facebook Live yet, or I'm not ready to do this. And it's like, if you're waiting to be ready, it's never going to happen. And I know that with myself and things that I've jumped into. And the reason why Brandy and I know each other is because we're in the same mentorship group and we're getting the same leadership and mentorship. And I know from my growth in the last year, I couldn't have achieved what I've achieved and learnt what I've learned and now teaching others to do unless I had that guidance. Every mentor needs a mentor. Even our mentors who are multi-million-dollar earners, they still have mentors.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, that, you know, even big networkers, you know, pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to have mentorship yearly. I mean, you would think, you know, that you're just making that kind of money and let's just sit back and enjoy it. No, yeah. They're always growing and learning too.
Yeah, and I think that the where it greatly helps is, and as I said before, it still happens to me. You see something new, and it's like, oh, there's a new strategy, or there's a new posting, or what's happening.
Object syndrome, right? Yeah.
With the algorithm, and they can teach me this, and you just continually absorb. Your brain's about to explode. And weeks have gone by or even months have gone by and you've not taken any action. You're still in learning mode. So, you know, I think obviously your journey was just massive action, whether you knew what you were doing or not.
Oh, yeah. You guys would die laughing some of the stuff I did. Like I did a webinar, even though my mentor told me not to, I did a webinar straight to my network marketing company without a following, without basically I didn't even know how to run traffic or anything else, right? Nobody showed up, but I did it anyway, right? And then I sent my coach the results, and then he's like, great job on taking action. Now let's try to, you know, do this. So it's, you know, it's perfect is the enemy of done. So if you're waiting to be ready, forget that. Just throw that out the window and go for it.
Yeah, and I think waiting for perfection as well, that's something I've had to learn. You know, in previous times, I'd want everything to be pretty and everything in their place. And even the Facebook Live, I'd find a topic, I'd write out all my notes, and then I would memorize those notes, Brandy, because I didn't want to read my notes, so I'd memorize them. Then I'd make sure the lighting's right, the camera's right, my hair's right, my makeup's on, and like, I'm not kidding you. It would take me hours.
Oh, no, I get it. I did the same thing. Yep, I totally did the same thing.
Yeah, hours to do one Facebook Live. And it's now I've got my puppy and I talk about weeing on the carpet and you just sort of, you go with the flow. And I think,
you know what? People love real. So if you can just be real of who you are and just, you know, you'd be so surprised by doing that and not pretending to be someone else, just giving value. And I always, you know, these are my notes from my life today. So, you know what, I always tell them I've got my notes, keeps me on track.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, because I get nervous, right? I still get nervous when I'm doing a training.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I do that too. And it's like, you tell people you've got notes. There's nothing wrong with that. It just makes you real. It's like I've got some notes with me just to keep me on track. And, you know, people put too much pressure on themselves to be perfect. Whereas what I've learned over time is the more you are you, the more that you're authentic and genuine, that's when true connections, you know, really start. So it's sort of, and this is the whole attraction marketing thing, which you put into place. So for somebody who doesn't know what you've done, doesn't know what you found, what was it that you actually found? I've got a very similar story. I was sort of scrolling online and I found some information. It's like, have you exhausted your warm market? Have you done this? And it's like, yeah, that's me. And it's like, but this is the internet and everybody's professing to solve all my problems, and who do I trust? And they're trying to sell me something, and I don't. So what was it that actually, and I have had shiny object syndrome where I've got a lot of resources, but I've come back to every time the same sort of mentorship that we're in now. But what would you recommend to somebody who doesn't know much about this whole attraction marketing thing? Where should they start on their journey?
You should start with the boot camp that Helen's going to put in the comments now, because you don't want to put it in your title. If you guys are still putting your links in your titles, Facebook doesn't like that anymore. So make sure that you're putting, links into the comments, or private messaging people the actual link if they're looking for it. But yeah, she'll put the link in and you can start there. What's really cool is I remember it was one step at a time, and it was one piece at a time. So it was a little piece of information that got me thinking about what I was doing, what I was looking for, what I wanted to be doing. And then the next day it would be another piece of information that was like, oh, that makes sense. Why, what's the reason I've been doing this? Like, doing cold market prospecting. How does that make any sense, right? Because those people don't know, like, and trust you. And what I found was that every time you went out, people were staring at this, right? So you couldn't even have a real conversation. So my thing was, how do I get in here?
That's a very valid comment. For any of you listening that or on the replay, if you would like that free training that Brandy mentioned about attraction marketing, just drop the number 2 down below, and I'll not only put it in the comments section, but I can send it to you as well if you put the drop the number sort of 2 below.
That's really where the journey started, and I'm just very thankful that I fell into the right place, because there are shiny object things going on. But once I figured out that it was real, and that they could teach me what I needed, what I was looking for, and that I could get results. In fact, just to give you guys a little snippet of how this worked, after I started using the strategy, 4 months into using the strategy, I'm practicing a little bit, putting a couple posts out there. 4 months into the strategy, using that strategy, I had 5 to 10 people a day reaching out to me and saying, hey, I want to know more information. Can you tell me what you're doing? What company are you with? And it solved my number one problem, which was not enough people to talk to, right? And they were higher quality people. They were people that were looking for someone to follow. They were looking for a home, a company. They were looking for leadership. And that's the cool part, is when people come to you because of attraction marketing, they're not coming to you because of your company. They're coming to you because of you. Okay, so it's about you. It's not, it's not about your company. You're branding yourself, and you're giving out value to people, which then attracts the right kind of people to you, higher quality people. You vibrate at the same level that they do. And the cool part is they already understand network marketing, right? You're not trying to drag Joe Schmo, your neighbor, over the enrollment line. Hey, quit drinking beer on Sundays. Let's go talk to your friends and family. Like, he doesn't even care. Like, he's happy with drinking beer on Sunday and watching football, and that's fine. You need to be making a circle of people that know, like, and trust you, and that want what you want.
Yeah, and so I think the major difference from what you're telling me, Brandy, is that although you're selling a product and you're in a network marketing company, it's not really about that. The number one thing is people buy off people. Yes, they buy a product or go into business with you, but the biggest asset really is you, is me, is the owner of the business, if you like. And people will buy off people they know, like, and trust. So with a company, we don't own the products, we don't own the distribution, we don't own the pricing, we don't own where it gets sent, all of that information. It's not really ours to control. But us as individuals, that's what makes us unique. You could have 1,000 people within the one company, they're all selling the same thing. So what makes you stand out? Why does
unique selling point, right? Yeah. What's different about you?
Somebody buy off you rather than the other 999 people in the company? And this is what attraction marketing is all about, if you're not aware. So Brandy, you branded yourself online, is that correct?
I did, and I'm in a health and wellness company, so those of you that are in a health and wellness company, you can totally brand any way that you want to. But I decided, because, you know, there's people that are in my company that have branded the health and wellness. They are health and wellness, right? They know about like gluten-free or they're vegan or whatever, right? I don't have knowledge in that skill set. I didn't want to be in charge of your heart disease, your gout, you know, whatever, right? I just don't. It's not my thing. I'm training on that.
Yeah.
So I actually branded myself as somebody that could teach you how to build online. And I was very upfront and honest with people. I told them right away, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I have no idea. I've never done it before. But I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to tell you how to do it. And that's how I built my following, is by, you know, just being super real and, you know, jumping on lives, even though I'm scared to death. And I would delete them after I would do them. That's how bad they were. And go back and watch some of my lives. You die laughing because that is so horrible. And so, yeah, so too funny, but don't delete them because you're going to need them later.
It really is part of the journey, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No one starts being perfect or confident or speaking fluently or delivering your topic just fabulously. Nobody starts that way. And even when you've been doing it for a while, you still don't do it that way.
Yeah, we did a live on my page the other day with a friend, and it was so funny. He meant to say success, and he said sex, and I thought I was going to die laughing. It was so funny because he was like, well, we got to get set up for sex. And then he was like, what?
I reckon I've done that before myself.
Yeah, he's like, wait, I meant success. And I just busted up laughing. But it's so funny because it's just real, right? Real people doing real value, helping others build. And what I love about what we do is you get to help more people. And it's not always about the people that are enrolling in your company, right?
Yeah.
You can help people that don't even want to be in your company. It's, you know, you're creating value for your company, for you, for your brand, and for the industry. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think when you change your focus to giving the value and actually genuinely helping people for whatever reason that is, you know, that's when the following really builds. And that's when people...
And it's not about your pocketbook, right, Ellen?
Yeah.
That's the part that people forget. It's not always about your pocketbook, you know. It's not about your bottom line. It's about turning around and helping the person behind you that has no idea how to even copy and paste, right? Like, you know, that's what it's about. And once you get that in your daily, you know, what you're doing, and you understand helping others, you'll be blown away at the people that end up in your business. You're like, where did all these people come from?
Yeah.
It's because you are genuine and authentic, and you're helping others regardless of your bottom line. And that's what the whole deal is.
Yeah. And I want to sort of reiterate as well, when we have these conversations about this kind of stuff, people think, well, I don't know enough myself. I'm not successful enough. Who the hell's going to listen to me?
Yep.
Now, you don't have to be successful to care. You don't have to be successful to give value to other people. You only actually need to be a couple of steps ahead, even one step ahead of the person that you're helping.
Right, and to give you an example of that, today, I don't know if you guys follow Misha Wilson at all, but he did a video that ended up in my inbox, and it was the key to creating sustainable success. Okay. And I took some notes. This is actually a live that I'm going to do, you know, tomorrow. It was simple. It was a 12-minute video. I wrote down a couple, you know, driving points. And, you know, that's all you're doing is you're sharing other people's content. It's basically rip off and duplicate, except you're turning it into your own words. So you're R&Ding it is what they call it.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. Most of my content comes from listening and learning from other people. Then I interpret it my way, put my spin on it, and then I deliver that message. So, you know, I have the mindset that if it's valuable to me, it's probably going to be valuable, you know, to others. And, you know, even like doing interviews in your story, Brandy, that's inspiring to others. And to know that you couldn't copy and paste. You had no technical skills, but you were willing to learn. You were obviously very coachable, and that's important. Like, people need to be able to be coachable and not go, oh, I've got it, I know what I'm doing, because, you know, we don't know what we're doing when we first start.
No, we don't. And that book I was telling you about is Think and Grow Rich. I just pulled it up on my Audible. So the persistence chapter, if you read that every day over and over and over again, you get so much value out of that. It'll be amazing. You'll be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah.
And I think reading stuff like that, recommendation, you know, that Brandy put forward, and just, you know, working on ourselves as well is half the battle. You can learn the skills, and you've obviously learned a lot of skills in how to build your business online, but it was you that made it happen. It was your hard work and your hard drive that, obviously.
Right, and you're going to have to get resourceful. You're not always going to know the answer, and I still don't always know the answer. If I get an idea and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how could I put this together technically, right? I mean, there's people that I rely on or even pay to do things for me that I am not good at. So what I like to do is find the skills I'm good at and shine there and work on the other skills in between. But there's always somebody that can help you, or you can jump on YouTube and, just get resourceful, figure it out.
Yeah, and I think that's just a matter of putting your hand up and asking for help when you need it as well, because, there's a lot of people, and I've been in this boat myself, you sit in the struggle. And when you sit in the struggle, it doesn't help anybody, and it certainly doesn't help you move forward and take the action that you need to take. So it's, being resourceful, as you said. And I just want to highlight, I mean, if you're getting value from this, please send some likes and loves to Brandy, loving the content and, what you're sharing with us, Brandy. So thank you very much. I would like to highlight that Brandy, from being struggling to earning 6 figures in 11 months, is now speaking on stage in June in a massive event called the No Excuses Summit. I went to this event for the first time last year, and I attended thinking, man, that's the best conference I've ever been to as far as content for network marketers, for network marketing in general, but also what we can achieve online and social media. And some people will do it differently. Some people want to do it through groups. Some people want to do it through a fan page. Some people want to do it through YouTube. Some people want to do it through LinkedIn. And that's all being discussed at this event in June. If you can get yourself to Vegas in June to hear Brandy on stage, drop the number 3 down below, because I've got 10 free tickets that I can give away.
Awesome.
To give away to this event. All you need to do is put a small deposit down, but you get the deposit back when you show up. So if I can travel from Australia to get there, and it takes a bloody long time, I must say.
It is a long time for you.
Yeah. Then I'm sure people closer to Vegas can, those kind of events are what, change people's lives. I mean, what you've been to a couple of them? The No Excuses.
I actually went to No Excuses in San Diego, No Excuses 7, so it would be, and that's where my life changed. I started the online stuff and then went to that No Excuses Summit, and it just totally changed everything about my business. The way I did everything, and I started to understand and believe there were other people that were doing what I was doing. So how does, if they can do it, I can do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important. I mean, coming from somebody that could only copy and paste, if Brandy can do this, I'm sure, then had no technical skills, and I was from the corporate world. I knew how to use a computer and some skills, but it didn't really equip me for building a business online. There's still a lot of things that I needed to learn, and I am still learning. But as long as you are happy to give value to other people and build your brand while you're doing it, and accept that you're in this for the long game, not 5 minutes, you're in it for the long game, then you can achieve really powerful results.
Right.
Like
yeah,
Brandy.
For sure. And that's the thing is right there is knowing that this is the long strategy. I think so many people get to the point where, they're like, well, I'm going to build online, and 30 days from now, I'm going to be making a 6-figure income. This is a long-term strategy, and it is going to take you at least a year to 2 years, even 3, 4, 5 to build up that massive following and just have people, coming to you. Will you have a few in between? Yeah, you will. You'll have people, trickle in here and there that ask you about your business. What company are you with? I'd love to work with you kind of stuff. But really, to get that massive exposure, it's going to take some time. You got to get yourself out there and doing lives and, understanding how to put all of this stuff together. And it does take, it's education, it's skills, it's skills you got to figure out how to do.
Yeah, and I would just encourage any of you listening that now is the time. I spoke last week about the importance of Facebook Lives and the importance of branding yourself online now, because in 2 to 3 years' time, it's going to be much harder to brand yourself online, because every other man and their dog is going to be doing it as well. And it's going to be very crowded, and it's probably going to become, expensive. We'll probably have to pay to play. So, I would encourage you to listen to this message, take Brandy's results, an example of what you can achieve when you learn about attraction marketing and how to do it properly. Brandy, I am very appreciative of your time and sharing your story and your wisdom with us today. Once again, please send Brandy some likes and loves. We've got a couple of comments here. A few people that said hello. That's what I'm trying to say. It was perfect. Hey, Helen and Brandy, have you ever heard of a lady, Bernie Allen? Bernie
Allen.
Can't
Maybe.
say I have, Gwyneth. But now you've probably intrigued both of us to
Go check it out.
see who it is. But thank you for those of you that have stayed on with us live. Really appreciate, your interaction and sending some Brandy. Please say thank you to Brandy. And thanks again, Brandy. I look forward to seeing you in June and hearing.
It's gonna be a good time. Yeah, I'm excited to get to squeeze you and say hello once again. But yeah, thanks for the opportunity to come onto your page and share with you. And I hope that that's some value for your people. You guys, Helen is incredible. So you have definitely got the right gal in your corner. So I'm just excited about everything that Helen's doing and planning and has going on in her business because it's awesome. So.
Oh, thank you, Brandy. I appreciate your kind comments. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow on my next Facebook Live. And Brandy, you enjoy the rest of your, my morning, your evening.
Yep. You got it right.
Okay. Thanks,
awesome.
everybody.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.